invisible labor. Right. So, invisible labor is a term coined by Ms. Arlene Daniels. She was an editor during 1980s. That represents all the unseen, unvalued work that is not very important, but is quite essential to keep the families, the offices, enterprises, organizations running. For example, the work that the house chores that a homemaker does, right? So we can all relate to it. This being a women-centric program, so that's an invisible labor. And in this session, we are going to cover the invisible labor at workplace, which is the office housework. The umpteen number of tasks that we end up doing, but which are not really important, but those are essential to keep the work going, right? So, welcome to the session. I am Soumya Menon, a product manager at IBM, mom of two, wife of one.
And this is Manjula Ramamurthy, program manager working in the AI Center of Excellence team IBM, and of course, wife of one, a mom of one as such, but one daughter which is equal to 10 sons and giving a lot of attention, and of course, a daughter of two, which is my father, of course.
Yeah. So, both Manjula and I had started our careers as technical writers or, technical documentation, information development, whatever you want to call. And we have been into documentation for the maximum span of our career. So, only a couple of years ago when we joined a hardcore technical team, we started to prove ourselves better. So, we would end up doing so many tasks outside of our core technical work, because of which by the end of the day we will feel so burned up, so busy, so exhausted, but at the end of the day I would really not be able to pinpoint as to what I did today. I'm sure so many of you can relate to it. So, that's when we realize that we are actually doing a lot of invisible labor, and that makes us the perfect candidates as speakers for this session. So, let me move on to a few examples. Right. Now, a few examples of invisible labor at workplace. Taking meeting notes, right? Because you're the fastest typer in your team, hey, please, can you take meeting notes? That's a very sweet request. Yeah, why not? We'll be excited as well. Organizing team lunches or birthday celebrations. Because you are the hottest person in your team who knows all the chic restaurants in the town, that work always ends up with you. Yeah, why not? Onboarding new team members. You might be the official tour guide of your team. You know how the team works. So yeah, come under my wing. Fixing presentation decks. Oh my God. So I am personally good at fixing, beautifying the presentation. So that I end up getting a lot of requests. Can you please fix it? Can you please beautify it, right? And we would want to help people. Maintaining shared docs or knowledge bases. So after our code word, we would get this request like, docs be update kar dena please. That is also a very innocent request. Why not? Yes. Volunteering for communities and diversity initiatives, unless it is properly documented or you get the credibility, it is an invisible work. It's a perfect example. Conducting enablement sessions, all those refresher trainings that keeps coming like once in a quarter. All that's time gone. Scheduling meetings across time zones. You need to check everyone's availability. You know better than a geography teacher now, right? Managing exec visits, again, out of Manjula's own experience. Yeah. You don't want to waste even a second of that exec, and you end up doing so many tasks for, within a day or sometimes, right? Being the go-to person for questions. You are the help desk, official help desk of your team. And the local tech support. If you are good at fixing things, that's it. I have this small issue, please. Right? And that is something, because you're good at it, you would end up doing that, but your time is just going off. Another example that I would point out right now is a live example. This is our core job we are doing, we are presenting. We are listening to the presentation, all the facility team is helping us. But I went with a sweet request to that sweet lady to take a video recording. Out of her politeness and courtesy, she is doing that as well. But imagine if everyone, all the presentations goes to the same person. I am hindering her from attending that, right? So, because we are human beings and we want to help, we end up doing things which is good as well. But if it keeps repeating, that's where the problem is. We are giving our time to something which is not doing any good for us. So that's what this session is about. This session is about. Now, let me show you some trigger points. How do you really identify? A few examples I've already given, but just to algorithmize it, if it's not in your job description, it is an invisible task for you. You know your job description, what are your core profile. If it doesn't include in that, it is an invisible task. It does not show up in your performance reviews. When you do something, take something up, ask yourself, is it going to impact in my, will I be able to write it down in my performance reviews? If no, clear. It's recurring but informal. Also, it's expected out of you but not rewarded. So just because you're good at it, like I said, I am good at fixing PPTs, I kept getting again and again the requests, right? Just because you're good at it, you're a nice person who don't want to say no, or who kindly want to help people, you keep getting those requests again, and yet your time is just going off like that. It's disproportionately assigned. Now, there's especially women, the interns, the junior team members, if they end up getting those kind of job again and again, that is definitely an invisible task for them too, because it is not proportionately assigned. And it eats into your core work time, very obvious. Because of these small tasks, you do not have time for your actual core job and your deadlines get pushed off, right? So, definitely. So, these are some trigger points. And moving on to how to track invisible labor, I'll invite Manju to talk about it.
Thank you, Soumya. I think Soumya set a beautiful stage for us to understand what is invisible labor like and what are the trigger points that one can identify whether they are doing an invisible labor or the core team work that they are responsible for, right? Why don't we jump into the aspects of how to track this invisible labor? We can just get started with a simple maintaining a work log. By work log, I don't need to say that we maintain the timesheet where we track all our core responsibilities work. A work log can be a simple Excel sheet or a notepad where you put forward all the invisible labor that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, the next point will be to maintain it through some tools, right? Like you can use some of the tools that is available out on the internet. One such tool that you would like to list is Asana, where you can integrate that with your Outlook calendar or any other professional calendar that you use. You can try to categorize and color code those invisible layers into yellow and the core team into blue. So at the end of the day, when you come and look at your calendar, you know it's full of blues and yellows. So you know how much of effort that you're spending into the invisible labor and how much of time that you're spending into your core work. And that helps you to prioritize your day, right? And yes, coming to the screenshots, why do we need to capture the screenshots for the invisible labor task that we're getting? We all know that invisible labor, people does not request you, they expect you to do it, right? And most of the invisible labor does not come through a set agenda or a meeting invite or through a proper email invitation. People just randomly walk down into your desk and ask, can you help me with this bill issue? Can you share this box folder? Can you book a meeting room? It's pretty urgent. We have a meeting in another hour or so. So, and you cannot resist it. You have to prioritize it over your core team responsibility and you prioritize a set of tasks which overtakes this invisible labor. So that way, if you keep collecting the screenshots and put it in a Word document or something, it will help you to add it in the tracker at the end of the day to prioritize it and see how much of effort that you're spending. And yeah, last but not the least, use some AI tools. Since we are from the AI background, yeah, I'll come to the reflect on it later, but yeah, since we are from the AI background, I myself have tried using some of the AI tools out there. I'll just give you a real life example. I tried building a small prompt, which is a very basic prompt, which I pass the to-do list that I have it for my day, and ask the AI model to come up with a categorization of what are the invisible labor that I'm doing, how much of effort that I'm spending, and what are the core teamwork that I'm doing for a day. So what I do is at the end of the week or the end of the month, I go and reflect back whether these invisible tasks are properly aligning to my performance goals. Am I spending worth real amount of effort into this invisible labor, or I am deprioritizing my core team, which is quite important work that I need to do. So that way, I've tried using Claude, ChatGPT, whatever AI tools that you have. You can just say, start at the beginning of the day, keep inputting your voice chats as well to see what are the invisible labor that you're doing, and at the end of the day, say stop and ask it to analyze through this prompt. It'll give you a detailed view of analysis of how you're doing. So that's just using that as an AI assistant, right? Instead of having your own personal assistant, you're using some AI tools to leverage that so that you can have your way prioritized in a well manner, right? And yes, reflecting on it, we spoke. But that said, let's see how to transform this or reframe this invisible labor into performance-oriented skills and action items. Yeah.
So we have listed out a couple of pointers over here. If you are a manager leading a team, first of all, spot the pattern. Don't close your eyes on people who are really volunteering for this extra work. You may still be noticing it, but don't just think that they are doing it out of their liking, because it is costing them time. So spot that pattern, identify the people and those work as well that is getting done invisibly, and consider that. Consider that to performance reviews basically. So make it a point, even if the employee is a little introvert and not talking about it, you bring it up in the performance reviews. That yes, it is counted, I am seeing you. So that itself is a big acknowledgement to the employee. Distribute it fairly. Now if you think that, okay, this is really boring job, you make sure that it is being rotated consistently and uniformly. Because these boring jobs, for example, organizing birthday parties, these can be done by anyone. You do not need great organizing skills for this kind of job. Attach value. Now, as a manager, you have the superpower to not just acknowledge and appreciate the employee, but to show it and take it to the upper management as well. Now, you can easily say that this person mentored the new joinees really well. And when you showcase it to the upper management, those invisible things that you are doing out of your core job gets visible. And automate and delegate. So definitely in this world of technology, if you're a manager, you will look for automating those boring tasks. That's nothing new, but when you do that, even those automating efforts needs to be made visible, strategize as a strategized contribution, and again brought forward as the team growth efforts.
Yeah.
Now, for
how do I
employees,
reframe this as employees, right? I know we are all waiting for the December vacation and managers are chasing for us for the performance evaluation, all those things, right? So that way, when you submit your performance evaluation, you tend to forget what you've done in the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. All you remember is what you've done for quarter 4. So it's always good to put forward in a work log or a tracker to see what you have been doing throughout the year, or the invisible labor or the coaching work. That way you can show it and highlight it and reframe it into a more performance goal-oriented tasks. Like for example, you have been organizing team lunches, team events, team birthdays, all those things. You can claim it like a stakeholder management. Or if you're maintaining a set of docs over a period of time, either it can be internal wiki, customer-facing documents, all those things. You can claim it as a knowledge governance skill. So all these skills will really transform your invisible labor into something that your manager can recognize and you can add it as part of your performance evaluation. So with that said, the third most important point is to set boundaries to ourselves. I will quote a real life example again here. People reach out to me as a program manager, they don't understand the roles and responsibilities. The printer at the floor is not working. The AC in the room is not very correct. And yeah, I need to book a meeting room. Can you help me with that? So first time I'll end up doing it because the team really needs it. And second time also I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. Third time I'll feel a little disturbed. It's disturbing my core team work. That gets me burned out if they come to me repeatedly for any access issues or flow related issues or operation issues or facilities issues. So that's where I need to step back and say, no, please reach out to the facilities team or operations teams for this. You can come back to me for any other program management related activities or project management related activities, but not for these things, which is eating up my core work time. And yes, finally, negotiate visibility. As I said, put that all invisible labor reframed as performance goals into your performance evaluation, and make sure that your manager or management recognizes it and share the workload. So I can relate to this. Some of the invisible invisible tasks that you do, you might have taken it out of your own liking. Like say, running some knowledge sharing sessions. You would have thought, okay, I'll get some visibility by doing this, so I'll take it upon me. But some of the tasks may be imposed on you, like you are expected to do that because of out of your role, just out of your role. So that task keeps you burned out at the end of the day. So for knowledge sharing sessions, people might think it's just arranging a session, right? But the amount of work that goes in the back end, like you have to reach out to people, select a topic, review the topic, arrange a meeting room, organize the speakers, and then make sure that things are in place and collect the feedback, roll down the meeting minutes, all those things, like arranging this conference, which is a big thing to do, right, for the organizers. So that all that back-end work goes very invisible, right? All the management recognizes the knowledge sharing sessions have happened. What are the data points? How many sessions have you conducted? What is the outcome of that? So that's where you need to go to the management and say, I have done this for quarter 1, quarter 2. Why can't you rotate it for quarter 3 and quarter 4? So that I can take up something else and explore on that area which I've never explored.
Right? Just like the Surf Excel ad campaign, share the load, right? So, with all these pointers, as I mentioned earlier, we actually use these pointers to reframe what we had been doing as invisible tasks and move on to a better job role like product manager or program manager that actually includes all those invisible tasks within the job profile itself. Talking to the internal clients, a lot of those things which earlier I was doing just out of my liking, but now I'm doing as a part of my core job. So with that, we would want to conclude the session with this quote.
Yes. The most exhausting thing about invisible labor is not the work itself. You keep doing a set of things over a consistent period of time, nobody notices it. The tracker is in place, the documentation is in place, everything is in place. Nobody bothers to take a look at it as well. But when you miss it just for one day or a week, all the exams come up to you. Why this tracker is not updated? What is the hiring information? What is the project information? What is the status? So that missing thing, nobody notices when you are consistent. Only when you miss it once, people realize that you have been doing a lot of invisible labor. And that's why reframing this becomes quite important. Yeah.
And when people notice that, that's the awesome time for you to pitch it. I've been doing that, now give me its worth. Right? So, we are open for questions, feedback, and specifically we would want you to add to the list of invisible tasks that you might be doing and is not there in the list.
The floor is open
Please.
for questions and
Yeah.
feedback.